Adrienne Moses, and I'm a retired United States Navy Chief Petty Officer, and I'm a retired psychology professor, and I'm a human behavior psychologist, and I'm a Christian life coach. I'm a daughter of the Most High God. I am the wife of this man. I am a mother. I'm a mother-in-law. I'm a grandmother. I'm a great-grandmother. I'm an auntie. And I'm a sister to these two. And I say all of that because everything that has occurred in my life has led me to this moment. You know, has led me to multi-best-selling and award-winning author of Christian romance, drama, fiction. So we know that Christians love romance, right?
Yes.
And we know Christians love drama, right? Right. So I'm a Christian romance, drama, fiction writer. And I also put my psychology in there. When I was a little girl, I was the one that sat in the corner with my nose in a book or two. Usually I read 2 books at a time. You know, and I still do that. I was the little girl with a purse big enough to hold writing pad and pencil, and if you see in this corner, I still got one, to hold pad and pencil or a pen. Now, those of you that are my age, which is not many of you that are my age, you remember when we weren't allowed to touch an ink pen until we were, what, in the 5th or 6th grade or so? You know, and so when I was allowed to touch an ink pen, that was like a ceremony. You know, here is your ink pen. and so then I got to write with an ink pen. But I always wrote journals. I would write my thoughts down. They weren't really called journals then. But I didn't really start journaling until I was in high school. And my parents moved us from Philadelphia to Greenwood, South Carolina, which is like taking this whole room and dropping it into this cup. Okay, so they moved us to Greenwood, South Carolina. So I had to write to keep my sanity. So because it was a traumatic experience for me. But then I joined the Navy, and the journals became the foundation of my first 3 books: Saved by Grace, Uninvited Memories, and The Swing. And I always tell my clients to journal and keep your journals, you know, go through them. 5, maybe 3 of my journals I burned. And the reason I burned them is because I did not want ever for anybody to see them and they end up somewhere weird. Amen. You know, so I burned them literally, because every time I read them, I would go back to that dark spot. And so I said, this is not good for anybody. So my life had moved forward enough to where I was able to burn those journals. And that's a place that everybody needs to be also. So in 1997, I was already retired from the military. I did 22 and a half years in the Navy. And so I was already retired, and I wrote the beginnings of the manuscripts as a final assignment in college. I took a college creative writing class because I was working on my PhD and my brain was pretty much fried. And so I needed a break from all the theories and all the statistics. I needed a break from all of that. So I took a creative writing class. And other than book reports and things, my first introduction to fiction writing was that class. I took it because I needed a mental break from my psychology PhD classes. I needed a break from studying. Now, my family knows that from the minute I started school at 4 and a half, I always was in school. They knew it. If I wasn't in a structured class, I was taking a class, I was doing something to learn something. That's just how I've always been. And so I decided to take this class. So my professor, Sherry Reynolds, and I don't know if any of you have read her books, but if you haven't, you should. She writes awesome books. My favorite is called, I'll tell you in a minute. Right now I can't think of it. But she has beautiful books. And she told me my manuscripts were A's. First of all, she gave me A's. That's like 3 A's out of my whole 16 or 17 years of college. You know, I got most of my A's while I was in college. You know, not from K through 12. And so those were 3 of them. And she said they were publisher. And I said, oh, thank you so much. You're so kind. And then I put them in a pretty folder and stuck them in a drawer. And that's where they stayed until 2016. I would take them out every now and then and read over them, and I'm like, oh, I remember this, and put it back in the drawer. And I'm telling you this for a reason, because I know there are some of you that have a manuscript in the drawer, or some notes in a drawer that need to come out of the drawer, you know. So I was having lunch with one of my friends. She was actually my coach, because I'm a life coach, and life coaches need coaches. And so she was my coach, and I let her read it. And she says, why didn't you publish this? And I'm like, nobody wants to read my words. She said, how do you know? How do you know nobody wants to read your words if you don't give it to them to read? And so I looked at her like, why are you talking in logic? You know, why? So anyway, I wrote the book, and I had not met Laquita then. I wrote it. I published it in 2017. It was my first fiction novel that was published. And I was so excited, and so I just felt like, oh, look, it has my name on it right there. You know, so from then, from 2017 until now, I have written 8 books. She's going to be publishing the 9th one here real quick. And I don't know how many anthologies and magazine articles and things, one of which she and I worked together with Listen Linda magazine, and then another magazine, a friend of mine's in North Carolina has a magazine. So from that moment to this, that's what I've been doing, and being retired has helped me to put that into to be able to do it. I think I'm the only person that I know that actually has done what they said they wanted to do on their what I want to be when I grow up list. You know, how many of you have done what you said you wanted to do when you were like, what, 8 or 9? You know, so I wanted to be a sailor from the day I was born. I wanted to be a sailor 22 and a half years. I wanted to be a teacher. I was the one, when we played outside, I was the teacher. When we played house, she was the mama. You know, so, but I was the teacher, and so that's what we did. And so I became a teacher. I taught in university. I became an author, and the psychology part was just extra. But the psychology part helped me with my books, because all of my books have psychology in them. You know, and it helps people to understand what schizophrenia really is. Because the story of Wade has schizophrenia. And in the book, he goes through all the things that people with schizophrenia go through. And in the back of the book, I write about what it really is and how it looks and what you should do and those sort of things. But anyway, so as I went along, like Laquita said, a friend of ours, her name is Dr. Velma Bagby. I met her in Houston at a book festival, and from there she called me and said, we're having this summit about saying she said yes, apology. I'm like, what is that? Yes. And I never could say all of that. You know? And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. It was online, you know, it was virtual. But she insisted that I do it, so I said, okay. That's how I met Laquita. And the women that I associate with now online are all professional writers. They are, she's our publisher. And women of God that I love. You know, they have brought me through so much. And like she said, one day I was trying to do something on Amazon and I hit the wrong button because I was being hacked. So I was trying to get rid of the one that was hacked. And I ended up getting rid of the real one, and I went into an immediate panic. I called my sister. She said, I don't know what to do. you know, everybody said, call Amazon. Amazon said, don't call us no more. So, but, you know, they calmed me down enough. They went through and tried to figure out what it was. It was Dr. Laquita and Jackie Cox and Chanel Coleman Weston. They were like, okay, well, just calm down. It's going to be all right. How can it be all right when they have deleted all of my Kindle books? I haven't read them all yet. All my Kindle books, all my everything, all my books I wrote, everything was gone. It's like I never existed on Amazon. You know, so be mindful. If you hit the delete button on Amazon, your life goes away. You know. But anyway, so that's how she and I really started working and doing things together. And she says, you know, I'm your sister for life. And I'm like, thank you. But, so, Dr. Laquita, I mean, everybody knows her. What can I say about her that you all have already said? You know, she is phenomenal. She is a phenomenal person. You know, she is a phenomenal publisher. And I had another publisher when I met her, and going over to her was not an easy feat. How do you say that word? Feat for me? Because I loved my other publisher as well. But my other publisher was also an evangelist, and she went on like a 1-year evangelical journey, something. And I had Dead Girl Walking to publish. So I called Dr. Laquita, and we talked about it, and I prayed some more, and we talked about it some more. Dead Girl Walking, best, you know, #1 seller, national and international. And I am so happy, you know, that I allowed God, I allowed myself to listen to God and then do what he said. And what he said was call Laquita, and I called her. And we have been sewn together by the hips ever since. So, like she said, she, you know, she republished 5 of my books, the 5 that got lost in Amazon. So now I have I have second editions now. I have second editions now. But that's the kind of person she is, you know. It's like, okay, calm down. Let's talk about it nicely. You know, it's gonna be all right. Y'all know how she talk. You know, it's gonna be all right. Let's just figure it out. You know, and she said, let me call you back. She called me back, and she had it all figured out. You know, how we were going to do it, what we were going to do, which books we were going to do when, and I was just like, okay. You know, and I want to tell you all something. If you all think that you don't want to publish a book because you don't have the money, I'm that person. I'm that person. You know, and I know all of you are that person. But that is the worst reason not to publish a book. That's the worst. Come up with anything else. But don't come up with, I don't have the money. Okay? Because she is going to let you know you do have the money. You know, and there's going to be a way to work it out. But don't ever use that as an excuse to not let other people know who you are and not let other people read your words. Okay? Don't do that. So, anyway, I think I'm almost done. When I was introduced to PaProVi Publishing, it had been in existence for maybe about 2 years, maybe, like she said, because it was right after, well, probably during the end of COVID when we met. And so I was like, PaProVi, that is the weirdest name for anything. But when she explained it, and when I saw it on her website, those of you that know, pay means pain, pro means progress, and V means victory. Pain, progress, victory. And if you know anything about her, you know that the name of this company represents her life. It represents her life. It represents everything that she has gone through and how she has shared her pain to help us to live through our pain. She has shared her progress to help us to go through and become through our progress. And she has helped all of us, along with her victory, we have become victorious as well. You know, and she don't mind praying. You know, I like to work with people that know how to get a word to the Lord. You know, that's what I need. You know, and so she don't mind praying. She don't mind crying. She don't mind telling you it's going to be all right. And she don't mind telling you, be quiet, I don't want to hear it no more. She don't mind telling you that either. You know, so I love her. I love her. And I know she loves me. I can't talk for y'all. But I know she loves me. You know. And I just want to say, you know, she says, I believe without pain there is no progress, and without progress there is no victory. And I know Curtis mentioned that earlier, and a couple other people mentioned it, and it's worth mentioning over and over and over again. And she always says, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You know, so every now and then I get to say that, but not often. But I just want to say I love you, and I thank you. I thank you for everything that you have done. I thank you for all the things that you have helped me to learn. She has taught me so much, because I didn't know anything about publishing or nothing. Like I said, my other publisher, Kelly, I would give her my book and I would get it back. You know, but she walks me through and she tells me everything and how to do this and how to do that, which is phenomenal. And I would just like for everybody to stand. First of all, everybody that she has published a book for, please stand. These are like, thank you. You know, these and 20 times more she has touched. You know. And I would like for everybody to stand and give her an applause. And we all thank you for bringing our thoughts to a reality. We thank you for being that guide that walks us. You know how you see that the poem about when Jesus is walking and he's carrying us, that's her. You know, there were plenty of days it was only one set of footprints in the sand and it was hers. You know, because I was on her shoulder crying and whining and whatever else had to be done. So I thank her. So I just want to say this. As we celebrate this milestone, Dr. Laquita, I bless each of you, everybody, with this reminder that your story is still being written. And the author of our lives has not wasted one chapter. Share the story that God has created in you with others. May you walk out of here ready to live, write, and speak with boldness, knowing your voice matters to the world and in God's grand design. I thank you, and I love you. I have a little something, and when you open it, you're going to laugh. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hallelujah.
Because I know I want to do some recognition. I don't know what's going to happen anyway. So. I really, 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 really appreciate you. Just as much as God appreciate me, I really appreciate you. I thank you for allowing me to help you tell the story from cultural revelation. I thank you for trusting my process. I do. I thank you for trusting my process.
And I want to say thank you. And this is just my little token to say thank you to you guys. So when I call your name, just hurry up here and go back to your seat. Okay? More to come. More to come. And you're okay. But the first person is not this person I'm going to recognize first is actually not an author yet. She is very, very close to me and doesn't like to write at all. And we'll tell you in a minute, I'm not writing. So I teach Bible study. I love teaching Bible study. So I teach Bible study on Wednesday. So no matter how I feel or where I am, that's typically where you're going to find me. Everybody know, don't call me on what day?
Wednesday, Sunday.
Don't call me on Wednesday and Sunday. That's my family time. I work the time. Wednesday is about because I won't answer.
Yeah. Just leave a message.
The power of your words, the power of words and feelings. And this person actually said, you should talk to the elders about using this book for class. But I'm not doing no writing. Okay. I did. She said, but has been such a supporter. She's like a mother to me. And when I'm up at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm calling. And sometimes I'll be waiting for the clock to turn to an hour, so I won't call her. Like, did I wake you? And even if I did, she'll say, it's okay. It's okay. So, Ms. Arlene, I want to give you this Legacy of Support certificate. And it says this certificate is given to Arlene White in heartfelt recognition of your unwavering support, encouragement, and dedication to the vision of PaProVi Publishing. So you have to remember that.
Yeah.
She is the boss. And the rest are going to go quickly. Karen Dewberry, I know it's where, but it's Dewberry. John Dewberry follows suit.
Yeah.
Dr. Chi-Chi, thank you guys so much for trusting my process. And these are, I'm sorry, these are certificates.
Wow.
LaShawn Hernandez.
Yay.
Gwendolyn Marshall. Dr. Audrey Ann Moses. But Dr. Audrey Ann, just stay there for a moment. Don't come get yours.
Yeah.
Mr. Leonard Moses. Like, did you forget you were in War Within? Cecilia Myers. Our Journey from Girls to Women. Best-selling author. Ina Johnson Myers. Are you guys related? Y'all got the same name?
I'm Myers by force.
Oh, by force. Rising above narcissistic abuse. Jeremy Myers. Our Journey from Boys to Men. Part 1. Kimberly Raven. Butterfly in the Jar.
Yeah, somebody.
John Martin Green. A life worthy of death. God, too. Father, can you hear me? He saw my destiny. And Nicole was my first Christian picture. Christian picture. Nicole and I have known each other for how long? 30 years. Her daughter was 35. Used to be in kindergarten. This little girl used to come into the cafeteria day. What time is it? Every single day. She's a girl. Now she's 35 and a
I love it.
Sharon Smith. Dreamer. Dr. Kevin Vaughn. Hold on.
Dr. Kevin. All right.
Anthony Wallace. Now, if somebody's here and I forgot, then I apologize. I'll get it to you. Okay. But now I want to do some special recognition. And so this person, I would be a total, I don't know, if I didn't recognize this family. And so things change, people change, but I'm all about doing the right thing. The truth is the truth, no matter how you shake it. So I wanted to recognize people who have been very impactful. Everybody has been impactful, but there are people who have made an impact and they've done some tremendous things. And PaProVi has benefited from that, and them as well. So the first one that I want to give, and they're not here, this is the family, PaProVi Publishing Family Impact Award. This award goes to the Cox family. With that family, PaProVi published 14 titles.
Wow.
Yes.
The children, they're the family of four, their children have books. And they are, all of the books are #1 bestsellers.
Exactly. I'm coming up here because she's online right now.
Okay, this is and it's given the PaProVi Publishing Family Impact Award.
Hold it,
It's
tilted.
presented to
Yeah.
It's presented to the Cox family. So we'll
Yay.
make sure to get this to them.
Yay.
So congratulations.
Yeah.
So the next award, this person has been PaProVi from day one. When I first started PaProVi Publishing, I think I was having a conversation with Nicole, and she said, I don't know if I want to do, make it separate or together. And she said, why don't you just add it with the list of all the other stuff that you do? And I said, well, I don't know if I want to put it just felt like it should be its own entity. So I was talking to Anthony Wallace, and he said, why don't you call it, I got a name. And I said, what's the name? He said, PaProVi. And I said, no, that don't roll off the tongue. But like 3 minutes later, I said, what does that mean? He said, pain, progress, victory. I said, that's the story of my life. I don't know anybody else who is down for, he could talk about the best salesperson PaProVi Publishing has ever had. Everywhere he goes, he's talking PaProVi. I get phone calls and say, hey, I met this guy in the gas station. And I'm like, huh? He was like, I can't remember his name. I said, Anthony Wallace. Yeah, that's him. Or he'll call me and say, hey, a daycare wants you to come and read to him. So I'm like, I don't just read. We do interactive learning experience. We don't just read. So this award is presented to Anthony Wallace. It's the Inspire Brand Ambassador. The next award is Lachelle Atkins isn't here. She was in an accident, a car accident. My frame is a little off. But I met Lachelle through a Zoom meeting. And I called her. She said, if I can help you in any way, let me know. So I reached out on the whim and said, can you help me with something? And she said, sure. And it was probably a year, I guess. And I finally said, do you charge for this? Don't you charge something? And never did. And every single person that she has ever referred to PaProVi, they have always pulled the trigger. I mean, almost 95% of the people that she referred. So this award is presented to Lachelle Atkins. It's the PaProVi Passion Award. I've published a lot of stories, and there are so many stories that have made an impact, and they have weighed on my heart. They have been just tremendous. I was talking to my team, and I was like, I want to give this award. And so we kind of went through it, and from the very minute, I already knew who I wanted to give it to. So this is the PaProVi Publishing Publisher's Choice Award, and it's presented to LaShawn Fernandez. The story of a warrior who broke free from mental anguish. And read about everything she talked about here. Read about it. That's what it is. When I tell you, I have the energy, the support just has been phenomenal. And for everything, for, I don't know how long it's been, produced my radio show, and did not say, you owe me a dime, here, this is this. Like, Doc, what we doing? Every single month for a whole year. So this is the PaProVi Publishing Distinguished Media Collaborator Award, Dr. Kevin Vaughn.
Dr. Kevin Vaughn. Yay!
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. Oh, yeah. Dr. Kevin Vaughn. Yes.
And wait, you get one of these two. Also best-selling author
Yeah.
for Our Journey from Boys to Men.
Give it back to the doc.
And so this last award is going to be presented to Dr. Audra Ann Moses. She writes amazing stories. Now her stories, you know how sometimes you see people that writing stories and it's like, okay, this is publishing book. Thanks, just going on. Not her story. Her stories are amazing. They are beautiful. If you have not read Dead Girl Walking, you need to get Dead Girl Walking. And then follow that with part 2, Jane's Journey. And then you're going to want to follow that with part 3, Silver Moon. Because the story gets better. It gets better. So, PaProVi Publishing presents Most Prolific.
Praise God.
And wait, Dr. Arjan. This is also yours. For, I mean, it's too many to count. So too many to count, but Dr. Arjan, this has been, this past month has been very, very difficult for me. And Dr. Arjan has sent me text messages. She has just called me just to say, it doesn't matter what time it is. She just called and say, how you doing? How you doing? How do things go? And she'll send a message and say, I'm here if you want to talk. Just to listen. I'm here to listen. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So this is just a little small token of my appreciation.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I didn't forget, there are 3 more people that I want to recognize. One of them butchered some of y'all names. So, my son, Curtis, best-selling author. I know I get on their nerves. It does not make sense for y'all mama to be a publisher. Y'all have not.
Right.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
It does not make sense.
Right.
Children's books, y'all need to have children's books. Y'all need to have all these books. It does not make sense. So this is Curtis. And listen, saying no to me is not easy. Okay. And Curtis, and I felt like he was trying to find a way to say no, but he couldn't. So he found a way to say yes. He was like, okay. And I was like, you okay? Yeah, okay. He was trying to find a way to say no, but he was like, okay, I can't say no. And he didn't say no. So thank you so much. So, last thing. So my cousins, these are my cousins. These are my blood cousins. And cousin on my mama's side, cousin on my dad's side. And so I'm right in the middle. So Dion and I talked about doing a podcast because there's all these things that happen within families. Bickering, fighting, infighting, backstabbing, front stabbing, and all of it is because there's a lack of love. So we talked about doing this podcast called Something with Love. So we chose what happens out of love. And it was originally supposed to be me, Dion, and Dion's sister. But But she was like, I got a lot going on, so it's not the right time. And I can appreciate that. I'd rather somebody say no in the beginning and you get all in and then they, fill it out on you. So I told Dion, I said, I know who might be a perfect fit. And so I said, Shanita. So the three of us went on a train ride as a bonding to Bun, and we had a good time. Yeah. And so I want to, first of all, I want to say thank you to my cousins for just helping me and sticking with me. My cousin Dion said, "You're bossy." And I said, "Bossy?" She said, "You're such a boss." She said, "You want to control the outcome." I said, "For me, yeah." I'm sorry. See, it's family business. But go on inside the family business. I get it next time. But I wanted to present this gift to my cousins.
Wow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And they were not expecting this. So they knew about every single thing going on in the program, but they didn't know about this. So they were like, okay. So I want to present you guys to our first branded, of course, it is mine. Oh, sorry. You was behind our back. That was oh, I'm gonna get you.
Wow, that looks good, man. Good job.
So this is our logo, but outside of love for our podcast.
Nice.
It's called A Cousin's Production.
I love it.
And this is the back.
That's good. Yeah, nice. Very nice.
And so I also want to present you guys with your own little ring light. Branded ring light. Of course, what I got for one, I had to get one for me too.
Exactly.
And we have our buttons, two buttons apiece. Keep one, share one. And so what I want you guys to do is to pick one person in the room to share a button with. And so I thank you guys so much. I love y'all.
Yeah, those are nice. Praise God.
All right, so find a person in the room to give your
Button two.
I got to stop. I got to
And look, Nye already trying to take it.
And there are prizes. Okay, good prizes too. So the ladies are going to ask you guys to check for the